Advancing in either the Southwest Pacific or the Central Pacific after the Battle of Midway in June 1942 required the Allies to attain several objectives. First, the U.S. Pacific Fleet needed to keep the Japanese combined fleet in check, if not totally destroy it. Second, Allied air superiority had to be established and maintained with both land and carrier-based aircraft. Third, Allied forces needed to carry out repeated large-scale amphibious assaults. Finally, rolling back the Japanese forces meant attacking island chains that potentially served as mutually supporting bases of operations. To reach all these overlapping objectives, the Allies employed island hopping and leapfrogging strategies to maximize limited resources, shorten time, and reduce casualties. In theory, island hopping made sense as a solution to cracking island-based defenses. This strategy can best be understood in the following example. U.S. amphibious and naval forces successfully subdue a Japanese island base, Manui. In the following month or two, fresh troops replaced the exhausted assault forces and crushed any stubborn Japanese resistance. Then this island is used as a staging point for assaulting the next enemy-held island, Aitutaki. Seabees and Army engineers speedily repair or construct airfields and dredge harbors as Allied forces mass for the next leg of the campaign. Island Manui serves as an airbase, safe anchorage, and supply depot for the men and material being ferried from Australia or Hawaii. Fresh Marine and Army divisions received their last-minute training before their amphibious assault on the island Aitutaki, with support from naval forces and aircraft based on Island Manui. This strategy was employed during the Solomons campaign and later at Iwo Jima and Okinawa. Island hopping proved to be a strategic necessity early in the Pacific War. As 1942 drew to a close and 1943 began, the Allies could muster only limited carrier strength because of losses around Guadalcanal. At one point in October 1942, the USS Enterprise was the only operational aircraft carrier in the theater, and it desperately needed an overhaul. Until the new Essex-class carriers became operational, amphibious attacks could not be supported beyond the range of land-based aircraft. Consequently, hopping from island to island under cover of aircraft from nearby bases was the only practical option.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss out on future content.
As more carriers became available, U.S. leaders also used a leapfrogging strategy which entailed isolating, bypassing, or circumventing Japanese bases. In theory, leapfrogging was most practical when U.S. forces had achieved air and naval superiority. Without air or naval offensive capabilities, the leapfrogged Japanese forces became impotent because they could not attack U.S. forces or receive supplies or reinforcements. This example shows how leapfrogging worked. 3 Japanese-held islands, Palmerston, Suwaro, and Puka Puka, are situated roughly in a row. All have formidable defenses and some naval and airborne offensive capabilities. Allied air and amphibious forces began by successfully subduing the island of Palmerston. Then this island becomes a staging point for supplies, men, and materiel for the next leg of the Allies' campaign. Seabees and Army engineers prepare an airfield and harbor for the forces massing on the island of Palmerston. Meanwhile, Allied land and carrier-based aircraft attack and destroy the Japanese air and naval forces on the island Sawaro, thus isolating the base and depriving its garrison of any offensive capability. Finally, when sufficient forces are available on the island of Palmerston, Allied forces leapfrog the island of Sawaro and strike at the island of Puka Puka. For Pacific commanders, leapfrogging was best explained with hitting them where they ain't. The leapfrog Japanese base was isolated in the rear area and left to wither on the vine. This strategy had two strategic benefits. U.S. forces could advance more quickly, and U.S. commanders could conserve their men and materiel. The leapfrogging strategy was employed at Rabaul, Truk, Mindanao, and the Caroline Islands. If you liked what you see, hit the subscribe button or share. Thank you. This has been EmersusTech.